Okay, what we've got while we're waiting on the ceiling to dry, we got 3 holes. We got this little small one, we got a little bigger one, looked like maybe a child took a hammer to it. Then of course we got the old doorknob through the wall hole. And what we'll do, we'll start with this top one. You want to make you up a piece of, it can be not newspaper, but what do you call, sheetrock tape, just something that's been in a W, M, whatever you want to call it, W, M, either one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fill this whole thing full of mud and stick it in that top hole up there. So I'm just going to stick this and just get plenty of mud, make this stuff nice, and it's going to be nice and messy. So you just want to get it full of mud. Put some mud in the hole. Push that W together. Stick it through there. And then pull it back just a little bit. You don't want to pull it back much. You can see what happens. It causes kind of a hook, so that M or W, whichever way you put it in, will cause that to droop down and latch on so it won't fall out. And then you come around here to the front and you can see the mess you've got. Well, you just wait a few minutes, take a pair of scissors and cut it, and then wipe off all the excess mud. Okay, got our scissors. I know it's easy doing it this way, but it's really a lot easier on the wall because you can push on it a little harder than you can here. Pull it through just a little bit, cut it off, shove that back in there, flush it up, fill up the hole, clean it up with your knife. And then you can get a wet rag and wipe around the outside edge of it. And then you let that dry. And then you've got a pretty good looking hole there, or it used to be a hole. So we just let this dry, and then we take a damp rag and just kind of clean it up, and then just kind of work on that little small hole. All right, on your next hole, which is this one with a kid's hammer, is a little bit more difficult, but it's not real difficult. And what we do is what we call a butterfly patch. That's where we just get a piece of sheetrock, any kind of sheetrock, and we break the center off like I'm doing, and then we work this size down, what's left on the sheetrock, to fit inside this hole. So we just keep breaking this off. We leave the outside paper around it. Okay, because this is going to be our total support for that hole. Okay, that fits. Alright. Yeah, what we do is we just carefully cut the patch where we've got just a, the smaller the patch the better. So now we've got that one, and there's really not much you can do with this like you did on this little small one, but you can do the best you can. Anyway, put some mud around the patch and in the patch. Then take and fill up your patch with mud all the way around it. Just you're going to make a big mess on yourself, but that's okay. Make sure you get every bit of it, because if you miss a place, what you're going to have a loose piece of paper, and that's a lot harder to fix. Stick this in there, shove it in there, whatever you need to do, squash it all out, clean it up. And you're done. Of course, you gotta let that dry, and then we come in and float it out. And just let that sit and let it dry. Okay, now for the bigger hole, as we're moving down, now we've got the old doorknob through the sheetrock, and we've cleaned it up. So here, you really can't do the kind of patch you did here unless this was up really high close to the ceiling, because whoever bumps into this is going to knock it loose. So here what we do is we're going to put us a backing block inside of it. So you just need to find you a piece of scrap wood, put you a screw, which is going to be our handle, so you can hold this thing. We're going to stick it in here like so, get it on the other side, kind of center it, best you can, and then reach in there with your fingers or whatever you got. Okay, we got our first screw down here on the bottom one. You don't necessarily need one on the top, but it's always best to put one there. Okay, then you cut you a piece of sheetrock about the same size as the hole, stick it in there, boy, love stage working. Okay, that's pretty solid now. Now we can tape and do whatever we need to do with this. Shove as much mud in the cracks, because normally we can't get a perfect hole. And just get you some tape. Try to put one tape next to the other tape. So all the tape should have mud on it. Don't leave anything dry. Okay, and then you just let that dry, and then you just come in with your wide knife. When this is dry, don't do it before. ready to go. Now you'll have to come in and put a couple of more beds on. I'm using 20-minute mud, so we should be ready to refloat this here in about 20 minutes. But we'll go back on the ceiling now.